we can start. Hey, it's about 6:05 now. If anyone else jumps on, I'll just I'll let them in, but we can start just so we can get going.
Okay.
So welcome to our essential oil class. I'm so glad to have you guys here. I know that a lot of you, or some of you, got some power cuts. I'm not home, but I know that there's a whole lot going on at home. But I'm just glad that you guys could jump on. Nella, I think you know, and Zelda, you know Karuna as well, don't you? From our essential oil workshops.
No, I haven't attended. I missed the
Yeah,
one.
we haven't.
Okay. All right. So Karuna is from Oregon, right? Is from the US.
Yes.
She's joining us from there. She is my essential oil leader. I learn a whole lot from her. And tonight we're just going to go through and teach you guys a little bit about the top 10 oils. But I'm going to introduce Karuna now, and she can just give a little bit about herself, and we'll start the workshop, and we'll share a whole lot of goodies with you guys tonight. So excited to have you here. Thanks, Karuna, and we're so excited to have you join us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. So like Sophia was saying, we met in South Africa through Cheryl Lancelas. I don't know if any of you know her, but I met Cheryl actually when I was teaching at a yoga convention in Greece. And then Cheryl had invited me to come teach in South Africa, which I was so blessed to do last year in May for a whole month, which was incredible. So I'm hoping that we can travel again and life will go back to being open and free, and that we can all travel again soon, because I'd love to return. For those of you who have not met me, I have been teaching yoga since, gosh, let's see, well, for about 21 years now. And I'm also an Ayurvedic health counselor and an Ayurvedic spa technician. So I give Ayurvedic health treatments. And I'm also an aromatherapist in training. So I have been traveling and teaching internationally since 2006. And I also used to own my own yoga studio, actually here in Bend, Oregon, where I've returned. It's come full circle. And I've also been integrating aromatherapy into my practice over the last 6 years, because I was introduced to Doterra when I was living in Tulum, Mexico, by some people who were teaching at my friend's yoga studio. And when I opened a bottle of wild orange, this was my gateway Doterra oil. I always make a joke about that, because this was a game changer for me, and I really didn't understand why until I opened the bottle and smelled it, and then began to learn about it as I listened to these people talk. Their names are Kyle and Kirsten Kirschbaum. And I later learned that essential oils, or scents actually, have the ability to affect the blood-brain barrier, which is one of the most primal parts of our brain. And this is where we store memory, and we associate scent with emotions and memory. And it brought back such memories of being with my grandmother, who she's Italian, and she would grow orange trees in her backyard, and after every meal she would have oranges for dessert, and it just brought back this memory for me that instantly made me happy. And as I was learning about wild orange, it's also touted as sunshine in a bottle or happiness in a bottle, because it has such uplifting qualities to the mood, as do most citrus oils. So as I learned about, just listen to a basic class like the one we're going to share with you today. At the end of class, they had offered a business opportunity. And at the time, I was always looking for a business opportunity, because I felt that I never had financial security. I was always living paycheck to paycheck, no matter how hard I worked or where I was working or how I was doing it. So I felt like it would be a good addition into and easily integrated into my business, because as an Ayurvedic health counselor, one of the things that we talk so much about is the foundation of health is food. And food is our first form of medicine, and that includes herbs, plants, spices. And so as I learned about essential oils, I learned that essential oils are up to 80% stronger than dried herbs and have a longer shelf life. So I began to start integrating them into my practice with my clients and offering them as different remedies, and found that people were having extraordinary results, were using the oils and really enjoying it, which of course makes everyone so happy. So we are going to just share with you really briefly how just some basic oils can really be so useful, and they are so multifunctional that they can be used for so many different common health issues that we experience. And when we're talking about pure essential oils, which doTERRAs are, because they're certified pure therapeutic grade, which means that they are guaranteed to be free of chemicals, harmful pesticides, harmful fertilizers, other plants, and foreign weeds. So they also have a quality control number at the bottom of each bottle, and you can go to doTERRA's website, sourcetoyou.com, and in the top window you can type in that quality control number, and you can actually get the whole GCMS testing report, which will show you when it was or where it was harvested, when it was distilled, how it was tested, and all the chemical constituents in there, which is very important, because when we're talking about using essential oils medicinally, we really want to make sure that they are pure and potent. And so I'm just going to, I could talk about that forever, but I'm just going to hand this back to Sophia, and we'll just begin because I believe that she's got a slide show presentation for everyone, so it kind of gives you a visual, and I know for me it helps me to listen and see as well. So take it away, Sophia.
Thanks, Karuna. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to discuss the top 10 oils, and we're going to basically give you guys some ideas on how to use them, what their benefits are, what their properties are. So feel free to take notes. And if you have any questions, maybe you can just write down your questions, and at the end we can do a kind of question and answer session. Is that all right, Karuna?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
perfect. All right, so if you have any questions, just write them down. I'm going to share my screen quickly. One sec for me. Let me just go to
Also, there's a chat too, so you can also type your questions into the chat, and while Sophia's talking, I can also moderate the chat too, and we can answer some of your questions as well that way.
Okay, can everyone see that? I'm assuming you can, because I can't see you. So just put a note in the chat box if you can't. Karuna, can you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So we're going to start with our first oil, which is lemon essential oil. So the lemon oil is a citrus oil, and most citrus oils are cold pressed using the peel or the rind, in this case the lemon rind, to extract the oil. So the lemon it's a very cleansing, revitalizing, and uplifting oil. And the benefits are numerous. So it's a very powerful cleansing agent that purifies and cleanses the air and surfaces. It's also a very powerful antioxidant that supports and cleanses the body, helping with digestion and respiratory function. And it's also a very uplifting oil, also energizing, often promoting a positive mood. So with this oil and all the other citrus oils, the caution with these is that they are photosensitive. So when we're using citrus oils, and this could be lemon, lemongrass, your wild orange, your citrus bliss, all the other beautiful citrus oils, we've got to avoid sunlight. If we're applying it onto our bodies where we're going to be in the sun, we have to avoid sunlight for about 12 hours after applying, for the reason of photosensitivity. So these oils can, do you want, please add, feel free to add anything in between, Karuna, if I've missed anything out.
Also, when we're talking about avoiding sunlight, we're also talking about UV rays. So that's, you know, there's tanning beds or things like that. So just be really mindful, because I've seen pictures of people who weren't even thinking, and they, you know, they put citrus bliss on, for example, and they rubbed it on their wrist, their neck, and then they did a hot yoga class. Then they went to a tanning bed because they were going on a wedding to Jamaica, and they wanted to get a little pre-tan so that they wouldn't burn. And it actually did burn their skin. So I've seen that it can burn and stain your skin. And just know that you just want to cover up. Or when you're using citrus oils and you are going out, like say to the beach or out in the sun and enjoying the sunlight, you could put it on the the soles of your feet, you know. But be really mindful of that, because it does happen, and it can take up to a year to heal.
Sure. Okay, so yeah, definitely want to keep in mind. And then with regards to application of essential oils, there are 3 ways to apply the oils. We can either diffuse them in a diffuser. I know Doterra sell their own diffusers, or you can pick up diffusers really anywhere where it's filled up with kind of halfway with water, and you put a few drops of oil into it, pure oil. And then you would diffuse the air. So I think all the oils are able to be diffused. And then you can also take certain oils internally, and that is one of Doterra's, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, one of the reasons why I use Doterra oils is because we can take them internally. I wouldn't suggest that you take any other oil internally, as we don't know whether they are pure therapeutic grade oils. Doterra we do, so there are certain oils that we're able to take internally. And then the other application method is just applying it topically onto your skin, or diluting it with fractionated coconut oil or a carrier oil to apply it. So with the lemon, we've got the option of all 3 applications. So we can diffuse, we can take it internally, and we can apply it topically. So a few uses for your lemon oil that we can do is we can diffuse 3 or 4 drops, or we can dilute it a drop or 2 in a bottle of water and take it internally, just to help slow down wheezing, colds, coughs, and any other upper respiratory problems. You can also add a drop or 2 into some warm water and honey. That can also help soothe a sore throat. Lemon is known to also fight bacteria and viruses. You can also add a drop or 2 to a spray bottle filled with water, and you can use that to clean tables, to clean countertops and other surfaces. It's really great for cleansing and purifying those areas. It's also known to remove sticky residues like gum. So if your kids like chewing gum, especially the little ones, and they either get stuck in their hair or on countertops underneath tables, you know what it's like. You can use a few drops of lemon to remove the gum, or even glue. Another way to use this is to make your own non-toxic furniture polish. So you can add a few drops to some olive oil, and it really leaves a beautiful shine on your wood, and it also helps replace lost moisture, especially in antique woods. So really beautiful, non-toxic way to get it into your home. And then it's a natural mood booster. So just by diffusing a few drops of lemon essential oil into a diffuser is known to boost your mood and uplift yourself. So there's some really beautiful ways to use this oil. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, another way that I've used it, I've tried, is when I buy my seasonal fruit, I'll bring it home, I'll soak my fruit in a sink or a bowl of water, and I'll add about 5 drops of lemon. And what it does is it actually takes the pesticides, it releases the pesticides that are on the fruit or that have been sprayed on the fruit. So you soak it in there for about five minutes or so, and then just wipe it clean. So those are a few ways to use your lemon oil. Lemon is also found in a couple of other blends, like your Breathe, your respiratory blend. It's found in Citrus Bliss, in Slim and Sassy, which I think we do have here in SA. It's found in your Purify Cleansing Blend, which we don't have yet, and your Try Ease and GX Assist. Karuna, is anything you want to add on lemon?
Yes, actually, when you were talking about adding a couple drops to a bottle of water or to a drink, when you ingest it, you'd never want to put citrus oils in plastic, because that citrus oils leach plastic, and you don't want to drink that. So it's fine if you use a plastic spray bottle, because you're not going to be drinking that. But if you're using citrus oils internally, you always want to put them in glass or metal or ceramic containers, and make sure you never put them in plastic when you're taking a drink of citrus oils.
Okay.
And also, I want to just stress that less is more, because, for example, 1 drop of lemon oil is like ingesting 1 pound of lemons. So you want to be very moderate with your dosage. So less is always going to be more. And yeah, I just wanted to stress that, because, and the last thing I wanted to say about ingestion is that if you do any research about essential oils, and you'll hear so many different people say that you should never ingest essential oils. And one of the reasons why people are saying that is because it's a blanket statement, first of all. And that's because not all essential oils are created equally. And it's been, through studies, it's been known that at least 80% or even more of essential oils on the world market today are adulterated, meaning that they have other plants in there that, like if it was lemon, they might make a synthetic smell from chemicals. They may be sprayed with chemicals. There's no worldwide regulation on essential oils, so you really want to be mindful of that. So when we're talking about ingestion, we're strictly talking about doTERRA, because doTERRAs are, like I said, they're scientifically been studied and researched, and they also have a medical research board who has backed the ingestion bit of it. So I just wanted you to know about that. And when we're talking ingestion, less is more. Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll add one more thing about lemon as well. On an energetic side, or on energetically, lemon is known as the oil of focus. So if you are feeling confused, or you're struggling to focus, or you have studying to do, and you have some learning issues, or you're just feeling a lack of joy and energy, or you're tired, lemon is a beautiful oil to diffuse when you're feeling those emotions, because it really just helps with focus. It helps with energy. It helps you connect mentally. It also helps you stay alert and joyful. So it's a really, really beautiful oil. And there's a whole lot of other uses, but because we are quite limited with time, we're going to try and stick, well, I'm going to try and stick with about 4 or 5 uses per oil. Okay, so that's lemon. So we're going to move to your next oil, which is peppermint. I want to start with peppermint. All right, so peppermint is also quite a popular oil. Peppermint is steam distilled. So they say 1 drop of Doterra's peppermint oil is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. That's how strong it is. It's quite amazing. So the properties of this oil is it's cooling, it's energizing, and it's also natural bug repellent. So as we go into the summer months now on our side, it'll be great to use for that. So it also helps alleviate upset stomachs, promotes healthy respiratory function, so really opens up the lungs if you're diffusing it. And it's often used in toothpastes and gums for oral health. So with application for peppermint, you can diffuse it, you can take it internally, obviously diluted in water, and you can also apply it topically. So a couple of uses that we can use peppermint if you want a nice, crisp, clean feeling. You can use a drop of peppermint with lemon in water as a refreshing mouth rinse instead of using the ones that we know from the stores. For if you have an upset stomach or you're struggling with indigestion, 1 drop of peppermint rubbed on your tummy or taken internally in a glass of water can calm or help calm any digestive issues that you may have. You can also add a drop of this to your daily shampoo or conditioner just to stimulate your scalp, which is really nice. I use this in my conditioner. And also great for tension headaches. So if you're struggling with a headache, you can dab a drop, also dilute it. I like to dilute my my oils in a carrier oil, specifically fractionated coconut oil, which is the coconut oil that where what is it? The hardness has been taken out, so it's liquid. It doesn't harden. And I make little roller bottles. I think I actually have them here. And I'll use a diluted peppermint oil, kind of in a bottle like this, and just dab some on my temples or on the back of your neck and rub it in to ease headaches. On an energetic level, peppermint is known as the oil of a buoyant heart. So it invigorates the body, it invigorates the mind and the spirit, and it reminds us that life can be happy and that we don't need to be controlled by fear. So it's a beautiful oil to diffuse as well. It's found in your Breathe blend, in your Deep Blue, your Digest Zen, which is great for digestive issues. Past Tense, which I love. It's one of my favorite oils, and there's also a blend that we have here in South Africa. It's a tension blend. If I'm feeling any tension in my shoulders or my neck, I often rub some of that. Slim and Sassy, and your On Guard toothpaste, and also quite a bit more. Karuna, anything more from your side on peppermint?
With peppermint, it's a great one. It's been studied quite a bit because it's such a common oil, and it's also been used in lots of cooking. You know, I mean, we most commonly have had it in different flavorings and foods, candies and gums, and it's nice when you mix it with chocolate, peppermint and chocolate, and also they've studied peppermint, and because it helps one focus the mind, when it's diffused with wild orange, it actually has been proven to boost math scores in school-aged children, which is pretty cool. And they just diffused it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, so that's our peppermint. So we're going to move to the next one. The third oil we have is lavender, also a favorite and a very popular essential oil. So lavender is steam distilled. That is the extraction method, and it's known as a very soothing and calming oil. So it's widely used for its relaxing qualities, for its calming qualities. It's used to soothe skin irritations and also helps skin recover quickly. And it also eases muscle tension. So we can use this, we can diffuse it, we can also take it internally, and we can apply it topically. So a couple of uses for lavender: you can, for a good night's sleep, you can just add a drop onto your pillow, or you can massage a drop into your feet, again, diluted with a carrier oil, and just give yourself a bit of a foot massage before getting into bed. The feet is one of the best places for, or the quickest, where the oils are absorbed into the system. So really nice one to use before bedtime. You can also add a few drops to a warm bath and soak away your stress in there before getting into bed. Another nice way to use lavender is if you've been in the sun and you've overdone it in the sun, a little lavender oil is helpful in preventing peeling skin, and also helps your skin heal without scarring it. So you can also make a spray bottle, so a couple of drops in a bottle of water, and you can use it in your car. You can use it when changing your bed sheets. Just spray a little bit on your bed sheets. It also gives it a really nice fresh smell. Even in your cupboards, if your cupboards are starting to smell a little musty, you can spray a little bit of lavender in your cupboards. So those are just a few of the ways that you can use lavender. Energetically, lavender is known as the oil of communication. So it is known to calm the insecurities that we feel when we risk our true thoughts and our feelings. So it encourages emotional honesty, and it insists that we speak our innermost thoughts and desires. So if you feel that you have blocked communication, or you fear rejection, or you feeling unseen or unheard, lavender is a beautiful oil to use. And again, you can use it on your wrists, you can use it at your pulse points, just underneath your ears, back of the neck, soles of the feet. So really beautiful oil to use. Karuna, anything to add? Karuna, are you still there?
Oops, I'm sorry.
No, that's
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you now.
So I have this really great story that Cheryl told me when I was on yoga safari with her, and a gentleman on a previous trip had gotten bitten by a spider right on his privates, because he must have been urinating outside or something. And he woke up the next day, and it turned into this big inflamed, swollen mess. And he was freaking out, obviously, as anyone would. And Cheryl had the lavender oil, and she just told him to apply it, and she had a carrier oil, so he did that. And he kept doing that periodically throughout the day and over the next couple days, and the inflammation and the swelling and everything went down immediately, which he was too much to his relief. And also, it's really great for burns, when you actually physically burn yourself, not only from the sun but from fire. It actually, you can apply it right to the skin, even if it's a 3rd-degree burn, and it will really start to cool that burning sensation. And there's a story about you think I would remember the name of he's a famous aromatherapist, and he was studying lavender, and he actually burned himself in his laboratory, and he happened to have, the nearest liquid was a vat of lavender oil, and he just stuck his arm in there, and he had immediate relief. So it's quite interesting how healing these oils are and how powerful they can be.
Beautiful. Thanks, Karuna. I recently, actually, I started playing with making my own kind of self-care product, and I gave Taryn, two my students, Taryn and Kerry, have tried some out. I made a salt and sugar scrub. So from home, just salt and sugar. I mixed it with olive oil, and I put about so it was quite a big one. I put about 10 drops of lavender into this little tub of body scrub, and it's so beautiful. I mean, as soon as you open that lid and just smell the lavender, it's so divine. So really, really nice. You can also start playing around with making your own and using your own instead of buying the store-bought ones. Alrighty, so the next one we're going to.
Well, can I just say one more thing about lavender before we move on, because it's such a powerful oil, and I think it's just so underrated because it's so common and people may overlook it, but it's one that I carry with me all the time because you know, it's just so versatile for the skin, your hair, your mind, your mood, emotions, for sleeping, relaxing. And one time it was early morning and I was driving home from the airport, and it was the first snow on the east coast of the United States, and it's very congested there and people drive very fast and aggressively, and I had just gotten a very small little Fiat car and there was this big truck that raced past me, and I just had this intuitive hit that that car was going to cause an accident, which it slid on the ice, and then and it was a 4-lane highway, and I was on in the slowest lane, and all of a sudden that big massive truck hit the ice and then just spun out, and I just saw it coming right toward me. And of course that's so frightening, and I just tried to remain calm and just went like this to try to avoid it, and then went back into my lane, and I looked in my rearview mirror, and it caused a massive accident. And then I had just driven maybe a minute or two more, and it was dead stop traffic because there was another massive accident in front of me. Thank goodness that I could stop, but my heart was racing, and I just, I had high anxiety at that level because I really thought that I was going to get crunched by this truck. And I just looked over, and I carry around with me my essential oil bag here, and I took out my lavender and I just smelled it, put a drop in my hand and rubbed my hands together, and then just began to massage my heart because my hands were shaking, and literally within 3 minutes it calmed my nervous system down. So it's really a powerful oil. It's so amazing.
Awesome. Thanks for that story, Karuna.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, when with stories, how they do work for us. So that's really great. All right, so we're gonna move to our next oil. So it was only when I signed up with Doterra that I found out that Melaleuca is tea tree. I didn't know tea tree had another name, but it does. So Melaleuca is tea tree oil, and tea tree again is also a very common oil that is used worldwide. So it's steam distilled, and it's got antifungal and antiseptic properties. So it's really best known for its purifying, cleansing, and rejuvenating effect on the skin. It enhances immunity, and it also protects against environmental threats. So we can apply this oil topically, we can take it internally, and we can also diffuse it. So again, able to use all 3 methods. So a couple of ways to use your tea tree oil. If you have any skin irritations like rashes or a bit of eczema, you can apply 1 or 2 drops onto the affected areas, or again, you can dilute it with your coconut oil or carrier oil. To enhance your immunity, you can add a drop or 2 in a bottle of water and drink that. You can also apply it to your nails and your toenails. If you have soft nails, I don't know about you, but with all this all the hand sanitizing that we've had to do over the past couple of months. I mean, going to malls is actually just a nightmare. I don't enjoy it at all anymore, because every shop you enter, you have to sanitize your hands. And the more I sanitize my hands, the more my nails are actually becoming like paper thin. They already were thin, and they've actually become even worse. So with your tea tree, once you've showered, you can actually take a drop and massage it into your nails to harden and strengthen them. And then to protect against environmental threats, you can also make a spray bottle just filled with water and a couple of drops of your tea tree or melaleuca, and use it to spray it onto surfaces. Again, you can also use this in your shampoo to clear dandruff. What else is there? I think that's all. I'm just giving you a few little uses that you can.
Did you mention wound cleansing?
Say again, Karuna?
Did you mention that it's wound cleansing?
No, I haven't. Maybe you can.
Well, I had a personal experience. I have this huge juicer that weighs so much, and one morning I dropped it and it landed right on my big toe, and I thought I had broken my big toe, and I was afraid to even look, but I wiggled it and it was okay. It's not broken, but I looked down and it was just split open and blood was gushing everywhere. And I was about to go on a weekend beach island adventure with my friends in Mexico, and I didn't want to not go. And I just got a clean towel, tried to stop the blood and elevated it. And I just was applying pressure and it wasn't stopping. And I just, you know, I didn't really have too many things accessible to me, but I always have my oils. So I took melaleuca, because I just had a few at the time, so I knew melaleuca was wound cleansing, and I put it directly into the bleeding wound, and then I also added lavender because it's also calming to the skin. So once I did that, I just wrapped it up really good, and now you can barely even see a scar. It was pretty amazing.
Sure. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. Thanks, Karuna.
No problem.
On an energetic level, melaleuca is known as the oil of energetic boundaries. So it clears away any negative energetic baggage that we take on from relationships that we may have, or anything toxic that is going on in our lives. So what I like to do is I like to apply the oils to my wrist creases. So the wrist creases have 3 channels that pass through. It's the heart, the pericardium, and the lung channels. So when we apply the oils to our wrist creases, we actually release the heart and the lungs from sadness, from grief, and any resentment that we may be holding on to. So it's a beautiful, beautiful place to add your oils onto. All right, so that's your tea tree, your melaleuca, and I'm going to do one more oil, and I'm going to hand over to Karuna to touch on the other 5 and to cover those. So the last one I want to chat about is the balance blend, which is probably one of my favorite blends. So the balance blend is your grounding blend. It's known for its calming and grounding properties. It creates a beautiful calming atmosphere and can also help with easing any anxious feelings that we have. It's made up of a whole lot of tea tree oils. So spruce leaf, I think it's made with hoewood leaf, blue tansy flower, osmanthus, and a few more. So with your balance blend, so your balance blend is a couple of oils that have been mixed together to make this blend. We can diffuse it in your diffuser, or we can apply it topically. But this is one oil that we can't take internally. Am I correct there, Karuna?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. All right. So a couple of uses for your balance blend is you can begin your day by applying a drop or two to your feet before you get out of bed in the morning, just to ground you and connect you to the earth and really root us down into the start of our day. So it's also great when used as a massage if you have a partner or a willing friend who's willing to give you a nice, good massage. Balance oil is a really beautiful one to use. Again, you can mix it with some coconut oil to dilute. And then again, you can apply it to your pulse points, to your wrist creases, as I've just explained, to underneath your ears, to behind your neck, also bottom soles of the feet. And you can also diffuse it in your home or even in your car. I was lucky enough when I signed up with Doterra 2 years ago, I managed to get a little car diffuser, and it's perfect. It kind of sits in my little console where the coffee would go, and it plugs into the little USB cable, and it's perfect. It's a small little round one, and I put a few drops of balance into my diffuser in my car, and I've got this beautiful aroma while I'm driving, and it really is calming as well. Are there any other uses that you'd like to share for balance?
Well, it's one that I use all the time. If you have listened to the list of oils that are in there, there's many tree oils, wood oils that are in there, and those are very grounding. So if one is feeling like they're kind of up in the clouds, running around all over the place, just feeling a little scattered, this is a great one to really ground down. It's the grounding blend, and I just love using it when I teach yoga classes, and my students love it. And it's nice because you feel really grounded and relaxed without feeling tired, which is something that I really like.
Absolutely. So energetically, it's known as the oil of grounding. So obviously, with it being made primarily of tree oils and roots, they say that trees live in the present moment. They're not in a hurry. They are stable. And this grounding blend soft energy is really great for calming us down. So it's a beautiful blend. So before we go, I'd like us just to do, or before I hand you over to Karuna to carry on, if you do have an essential oil, please grab it. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's lavender or lemon or balance. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a moment so I can see you, because I unfortunately can't see you. There we go. All right, and then I'll share it again. So take your oil and just place one drop into your hands, just one drop, whatever oil you have. Okay, and then you're going to rub the palms of your hands together. Take your time and just take a few deep breaths of the oil. Just breathing in the scent of the oil, the spirit of the oil, the spirit of the plants. And then we're going to rub our fingertips into the palms of our hands where you placed your oil. And I'd like us to take your fingertips and place them at the center of your forehead. So flatten into your palms. Take a nice deep inhale of the oil. And then as you exhale, you're going to trace your fingertips around the top of the brow to the temples. And then taking your fingertips to behind the ears, all the way to the back of the neck. Flatten your palms and draw them over your shoulders, just giving yourself a bit of a massage. And then placing one hand on top of the other on your heart space. And I want you to gather the energy that you may have taken on from this week that you need to release. All the energy that you don't want to take into the weekend with you. And we're going to extend our arms out to the sides and flick it away. Nice. Now let's do that once more. So bring your fingertips to your forehead. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale, trace over your brows, temples, behind your ears, back of the neck, over your shoulders, one hand over the other on your heart space, just gathering the energy that you want to let go of. And then extend your arms out to the sides and flick. Nice. And release. Thank you. I'm going to hand you over to Karuna, and she's going to chat about the other 5 oils. I'm going to share my screen.
Thank you so much. That was so lovely. I loved that. Really nice.
Awesome.
Did you guys enjoy that?
Okay.
Okay, so I always like to make these a little bit interactive. So if you want to put your name in the chat box and where you're visiting from, that helps me get to know you a little bit better, because I don't know you like Sophia does. So I would really appreciate that. And if you have experienced essential oils or not. So we are going to talk about oregano next. So if you could just flip on over to oregano. This is distilled from the leaf of the plant, and this oil can be taken or applied in the 3 different ways that Sophia was talking about: aromatically, topically, and internally. However, we must be very careful with this super powerful oil, because it's really known as one of the hottest oils, meaning that it can feel burning. It can feel like it can burn your skin. It can feel like it will burn you internally if you take it internally too much and not properly. So when you're applying it to the skin, please, please, please always dilute this oil with a carrier oil, because it's so hot. And as a general rule, when we're diluting essential oils, you want to dilute 1 drop of essential oil to a tablespoon of a carrier oil. And you can use any kind of small little glass jar or whatever, and that way you have a cover so that you can use it later. It's best applied to the soles of the feet, because as Sophia was saying, when we apply essential oils to the soles of the feet, think of all the reflexology points on your feet. So those are directly correlated with different organs and parts of the body, and it moves directly into the bloodstream to those organs within just a few moments. So it's a very great way to apply the oils. And this is an herbaceous oil. It has a sharp green, almost camphorous taste, and it's known as antibacterial and a natural antibiotic that's been used in traditional medicine for thousands of years. Because it has such a high chemical content of cavachol and thymol, it just is so purifying, and it just possesses such high antioxidant properties. So a lot of times I will use this anytime someone tells me that I need to use antibiotics. I'll always go this route first. So the best way to take this when you're working to boost your immune system, or when you need support fighting infections, you can put it in a little capsule. So you can take apart the capsule, put 1 or 2 drops in there, and then just put the capsule in, and then swallow that with a full glass of water. Because a lot of times I hear my clients say that when they take essential oils internally, they will burp up the taste, and that's a sign of dehydration. So you want to make sure that you're very hydrated so that that won't happen. And then I always recommend after you take that capsule, take a tablespoon of coconut oil and just take that internally, because coconut oil is cooling, okay? And since oregano oil is so hot, even when we're taking it in a capsule, some people can feel that heat in their digestive tract, so that coconut oil kind of coats the internal organs all the way through the digestive tract from the mouth through elimination to help remediate that issue. So it's also great when seasons are changing, and when seasons are changing, that's when people's immune systems gets a little bit wacky and people have a tendency to get a little bit more sick, or when plants are in bloom, we tend to react to the pollen and such. So seasonal changes is a really great time to take oregano internally, as well as what we're dealing with currently, just to keep our immune system really strong. It's also found, excuse me, in a couple other products that you see to the right, GX Assist. Now, this is also a very, do you have that product available there? What about On Guard soft gels?
Not yet, no.
Okay, so then I won't even bother talking about them. And we'll just move on. So that, just know that you have something to look forward to, because Doterra just opened their market in South Africa last year. So just know that they are doing their best and working with your government regulations and rules and international trade laws to get all of Doterra's products into your country as fast as they can. So this is definitely, oregano is definitely a one that I always have in my herbal apothecary because it's so powerful. And I love how Sophia talks about the energetics of the oils, because really these are our plant allies. We've been using them for, you know, ever since people started gathering foods and using plants. And on an energetic level, this is an oil that helps us develop a sense of humility and a sense of non-attachment. So one of the things that I've noticed with the whole pandemic is, and especially in the United States, because people are very egoic and very into their personal freedom and very individualistic and really not about the whole, very selfish, you know. So I've noticed that people are very attached to their events, their, you know, their style, being able to do the things that they want to normally do. And because we're, you know, we've been restricted on many different public gatherings and such, we are not able to live our life as freely as we would like. So I always recommend just add just one drop of oregano oil to your diffuser with any, you know, it blends well with wood oils, with citrus oils, with florals, and florals and citruses especially are uplifting, whereas we talked about wood oils are more grounding. So depending on one's mood, we can really navigate and help alleviate some of the, you know, the angst and attachment that we have. So did you want to say anything about oregano oil?
Maybe just one thing that we can use it for is also for our cooking. So I know I'm Greek, and I know a lot of the Greeks like their oregano in their food big time. So but because it's so strong, I know if for instance we were making a nice big pot of pasta sauce, in a big pot of pasta sauce you would probably add just one drop. Am I right, Karuna?
Well, you know, I'm Italian and I make sauce all the time, and we use oregano in our cooking as well all the time, being Mediterranean. And I found that even one drop was too much and I ruined my food. So what I do is I have wooden toothpicks, And
Okay.
when you know, you can turn your oregano bottle over like this, and then open it up, and you'll see that the cap looks a little bit moistened. So, or this is called an orifice reducer. So I just take my toothpick and just stick it in the hole where the oil would come out, and I just swirl it in my food, and then I'll taste it, because like we said, less is more. And when it comes to essential oils, we can always add more, but we can't take it away. So I mean, when I just opened that up, I didn't even have to hold the bottle near me. It's so strong. And also I like to use myself as a guinea pig for all the oils. So what I did is, because with other oil of oregano, you can like put a drop in honey and it's fine. So I thought I could do that and put a drop of oregano and a spoonful of honey. And I'm talking like a heaping spoonful of honey. And I had to hold on to the table, and I think my eyes popped out of my head. It was so strong. So just know that these oils are really not comparable to what you can purchase from the store, because these are from my research, I found that these are honestly the highest quality medicinal oils in the world. So just really be mindful when you're using oregano. And then if you could switch the slide, the next one I'd love to talk about is frankincense, which is touted as the king of oils. And if you've heard about the birth story of Jesus, you'll know that the three wise men brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And why would they do that? Well, back in the day, when things weren't as clean and sterilized as they are in our day and age, there was lots of infections, and many children died at birth. Then many mothers died. There was many infections, and so frankincense and myrrh oil were touted almost more valuable than gold because of their medicinal properties. So back in ancient times, when a baby was born, they would take frankincense and they would dilute that with a carrier oil, and they would anoint the newborn baby from head to foot as not only protection from infections, but also energetic protection. So frankincense is known as the oil of truth, and it also is a great one that's used in meditation, because frankincense is good for all things that relate to the mind. Frankincense has this amazing ability to cross the blood-brain barrier into the limbic system, and not all essential oils have that ability. But frankincense does, and the blood-brain barrier is like this energy field around the brain that keeps chemicals and toxins from entering the brain and poisoning the brain, which is one of the reasons why when people have brain tumors or brain cancers, chemotherapy doesn't work. And that's why they need to use radiation. But there have been recent studies that have found that using frankincense is actually shrinking tumors. And it's also really good for the skin, because it softens the skin, so it smooths out the skin, and it reduces dark spots on the skin. It helps to smooth out wrinkles and eliminate scars. So it's used in many different beauty products. You can make a facial mask with it and just get some bentonite clay or French green clay or some kind of clay, and add some water to that and make like a paste, and just add 1 drop of frankincense oil, and you can use that on your skin, or you can dilute it with a carrier oil. You can add a drop to your lotion and use it on your lotion. added with grapefruit, it actually can reduce the appearance of cellulite on the skin. It's it's a very amazing oil, super sacred, that's used in ceremonies throughout history, and it's still used in sacred ceremonies today. It comes from the resin of the frankincense trees in Africa, up in Somalia there, and Oman. And what makes doTERRA's frankincense oil so special is that when the harvesters slash the bark of the tree, it comes out in teardrops. And the first teardrop is the one that's harvested because that's the one that's most powerful and potent. And one of the great things that doTERRA does that I love is that they have something called co-impact sourcing, where they're ethically sourcing and harvesting their plants from all over the world. And what they've done is they've cut out the middleman, and they've gone directly to local farmers. And one of their goals is to help people maintain their cultural farming ways so that they're not getting crushed and bought out by big pharma and big agriculture industries. And they're paying the farmers from seed to harvest, whether the crop comes to fruition or not, which is phenomenal, which ensures that people are getting paid for their work on a regular basis, getting a fair wage. And oftentimes, for example, I deal a lot with local farmers here because I try to buy as much as my local produce and food from my local farmers at farmers market. And I know that they're not getting paid until someone buys their produce. So can you imagine working all season and then something devastating with the weather happens and all your work goes and you don't get paid for it, and your family suffers and people go into debt? Well, this is not happening. So one of the great things about doTERRA is that they're really creating a lot of job security for people in countries where they wouldn't have that. And so they're really uplifting lives worldwide, which is so amazing. Do you have anything more to say about frankincense? I think I could talk about it forever.
Yeah, it's a beautiful oil. I mean, you've basically covered everything that I was thinking as well. I remember doing a course, or I studied to be a cancer exercise specialist, and I remember watching a documentary called The Truth About Cancer, and how they spoke about essential oils and specifically frankincense with reducing tumors. It was actually quite incredible. So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, but like you say, there's so much to speak about. I think, I don't know, on an energetic front, I know frankincense is known as the oil of truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So also a beautiful one to use. It invites us to let go of lower vibrations, of lies, of things that don't serve us, negativity. And it just helps create new perspectives based on our truth and on light. So yeah, just something to think about there as well.
Yeah, and Zelda just typed in, can she use it on a 2-year-old baby? Absolutely, yes, diluted. And when we're talking about using it on babies or the elderly or people with sensitive skin, you want to up the dilution rate and use 1 drop of essential oil to 4 tablespoons of a carrier oil. Good question. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is Breathe Blend, which if you have that right now, I invite you to open the bottle. This is one that I use in my yoga classes all the time. We'll put 1 drop in our hand and then we'll rub our hands together. And it's very strong, so you can close your eyes and just take some slow, deep breaths. By beginning holding your hands away from your face, because sometimes if we just put it right to our face, I've seen people cough or kind of gasp or choke a little bit because it's very intense. It has peppermint, eucalyptus, tea tree oil, lemon, cardamom, and the herb Ravinsara, which is used in Ayurvedic medicine a lot. And this is an herb that is very aromatic and helps to open the airways. So all of these oils contained in this blend open the airway. After you get used to the blend, you can kind of cup your hands over your nose and your mouth, but please don't touch your eyes. It's like getting a hot pepper in your eyes. But if that does happen, then grab a carrier oil, coat your hands with a carrier oil, and just close your eyes and put the carrier oil over your eyes, and that will begin to alleviate that burning sensation. Never, if you have, while we're talking about contraindications, or if you're having a negative reaction to the oil, maybe you notice that you're developing a rash, or it feels like it's burning, and that can happen if you use an oil neat, or maybe it just doesn't resonate with you. So never, ever, ever wash it with soap and water, because that will intensify it. So you want to just put a carrier oil over there, and if the only oil you have in your house is a vegetable oil, olive oil, then just do that, and that will alleviate that issue. Now, if someone is suffering from any kind of respiratory issue, they have a cold, asthma, you can make a little tube with your hand like this and cup it over your palm, and take a deep breath in through your mouth like this. And then you'll exhale through the nose. And you can do that a few times. So when people have asthma, they can inhale, 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 and they expand, 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 and to the point where some people can actually break a rib or two. And the panic comes when they cannot exhale. They're restricted. So this oil actually helps to open up the airways, which is phenomenal, and that it causes so much relief. So if someone is sick or can't breathe, a lot of times if we're feeling anxious, what happens? The breath increases, or we feel really tight in the chest. So if someone's suffering any kind of anxiety, panic attacks, this is a really great one to diffuse in the air, or keep with you in your pocket. And it comes in different forms. So you can also make a little roller blend like Sophia was telling you about, and just keep it diluted in your purse. And you can put it on your chest, in your throat, to open up the airways. And you can rub it on your wrists and hands and just breathe that in like I showed you. So this is also one that I always have on hand, because so many people are on high high anxiety right now with everything that's happening. So energetically, this is an oil that supports respiratory system, and it's the oil of breath. So it can also help us address any inability to let go of any grief or pain, because again, when we're experiencing that, we feel almost crushed in our heart, right? That we can't breathe. It almost feels like everything is restricted. So this helps to really open up and to find that sense of expansion, so that we don't feel so compressed into ourselves. It also supports our relationship with spirit and deepens our connection to life, because what is breath? It's prana when we're looking at it from a yogic perspective, and prana is our life force. So a lot of times when people are living a very stressful life, they're not able to breathe, and they breathe really short, fast breaths. Well, the ancient yogis have always said that when we're born with a certain number of breaths. And if we live our life on high anxiety and we're breathing really fast, we're going to use that number of breaths much more quickly. So the practice of pranayama extending the life force, is the idea is that we slow down the breath, which has a direct physiological effect on the nervous system, and we just begin to move from fight or flight into rest and digest. So if you just notice what it's like to take 10 slow, deep breaths, everything shifts. And I just want to go back to frankincense for a moment, because when we inhale frankincense and take 10 deep breaths, it actually reduces the inflammation in the brain. So, you know, when you have brain fog and you're like, oh, I just walked in the room and what am I thinking of? I can't even remember why I'm here. You know, or we feel spacey. Frankincense is really great for that. And breathe helps to also ground us down, and we can use different pranayama practices to create different effects and moods in our body. So having a deep, intimate relationship with our breath is so important. Sophia, do you have anything to add about breathe?
I loved everything you said, Karuna. So I recently actually shared a post on Instagram about the breath, because I'm busy reading a book by Dr. Sue Morter on the energetic codes, and she speaks about the breath as our soul, which is in physical form, right? Because without the breath, we have nothing really. We're living in our bodies. Our souls are in our bodies, and our breath is really our soul. So when we take our last breath, that's when our soul or our spirit leaves our body.
That's so beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, it is. I thought
So
too.
true. So let's just move on, because I know it's getting a little bit late for people, but this next one I want to talk about is one that I use all the time. This is a savior here. It's called On Guard, and this is also a blend that has wild orange, cloves, cinnamon, rosemary, and eucalyptus. So it kind of smells like mulled cider, you know, that wassail smell. It reminds me of the holidays. It's very warming, and this is a blend that boosts and protects our immune system. So anytime I feel like I'm getting sick, I'll warm up some water as if I'm going to make tea, and I'll put 2 to 4 drops in here, and I'll drink that. And depending on how I feel, I may do it several times a day, or I may do it before I go to bed at night and wake up and feel totally fine, because it really nips it right in the bud. So you can also incorporate this into your daily health routine, just to keep the immune system really strong and boosted. So this oil is so great because you can gargle with it, and it's great for oral care. And again, they have different products, but I don't want to talk too much about them, but they have toothpaste and cleaning products and mouthwash and a hand sanitizer in the States, so eventually you'll get those too. But you can put this in a capsule, you know, 1 to 4 drops, and take that internally. You can also make a cleanser and put some drops in a spray bottle with distilled water and maybe a tablespoon of vinegar, and you can use it to clean all your surfaces, because this is a blend that's been scientifically proven to kill, I think, 99.6% of germs. And they've done different science projects, and you can actually see, if you look it up and you Google Doterra On Guard science, you'll see so many different things come up. So this is another one that I always have in my apothecary that I just don't go anywhere without, especially these days. And on an energetic level, not only is it, well, physically, not only is it protecting our physical immunity, but on an energetic level, it protects our aura. So a lot of times, you know, we're getting bombarded energetically by all these different things, and people can feel overwhelmed or drained or fatigued or emotional, and they don't even know why. It just shows that you're empathetic, and it's a sign of what the collective is feeling, and you're feeling it too. So in order to strengthen our aura, and it's almost like creating a protective energetic boundary around us. So it's just such a great one to use. And what I do is I'll make a spray, and I'll spray when I change my trash, I'll spray the dust, the bottom of the garbage, the trash can. I'll spray around my sinks and in my bathroom, because there's so many germs that just build up there, and it just smells so fresh. And when I lived in Mexico, I would live there seasonally, so I'd rent different houses, and sometimes they would come with people who would clean, and that would make me really uncomfortable, because in Mexico they love their chemicals, fabulosa to the max, and I cannot deal with chemicals in my house. So I spoke to the woman who was cleaning my house, and I offered her, I said, I have my own cleaning products. Can you please use them instead of yours? Do you mind? And she's like, no, that's fine. So she would tell me that she loved cleaning my house because she didn't feel like she was choking. She felt that her mood was uplifted, and then she started to share it with her friends, and then they started to use it. So just like a smile, using natural solutions can become a healthy contagion, right? And so what Sophia and I are really passionate about is teaching people like you, people that we love, that are in our community, how to change toxic products in your home for more natural solutions, and how to build your herbal apothecary so that whenever some kind of health issues come up, you can go to and use your oils first, which have very little to no side effects. I mean, you've heard about the things that can come up that we've talked about throughout the class, but it's not going to be a mystery pill that you have no idea what's in. You don't know how it's going to react. You don't know if it's going to be addictive. And you know that those pills are man-made and synthetic. And so for me, if someone offered me a natural solution or like some mystery pill, I would always choose the natural solution first. And I know that more and more people are going more natural these days, because we're seeing that it really works. And I'm not saying that we need to eliminate modern medicine, but we can also use it not only to replace it, but also in conjunction to support what that medication may be doing. Because let's face it, there are medications that people need to be on. And thank God for modern medicine, because, you know, where would we be without it? So the next, do you have anything to say about this one?
No, I did want to say that we, SA already have the hand wash. I know I bought some, so right at the beginning of lockdown, I bought a whole lot, and I love the soap, and so does everyone in the family. And we've also got the toothpaste, the whites, the teeth whitening On Guard toothpaste.
Oh,
which is also
good.
very, very nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah, just wanted to
Okay,
share that.
good. Yeah. Actually, I've had a lot of friends say that when they go to the dentist, their dentist compliments them on how white their teeth are. So and I use it myself. It's an amazing toothpaste, and kids love it too. Okay, so the next oil I want to talk about really quick is Digest Zen. And this is an oil that earned me the term shamana when I lived in Mexico, because this deals with all things digestive. So if you are dealing with anything that's dealing with the digestive system, any kind of health issue there, this is going to be an oil that you are going to love. So you can take a drop and you can put it neat on your belly and massage your belly, or you can dilute it with a carrier oil. Now, when we're using oils neat, what happens is we're just using the oil directly on the skin, and oftentimes that can intensify the dosage, but it won't last for a very long time because it has a tendency to evaporate off the skin more easily than when it's diluted. And when we dilute the oil, it will move into the skin over a slower period of time. So it actually will, the dosage will last longer, and it penetrates into deeper levels of the skin, into the bones. Now, when we're talking about using oils topically too, you want to make sure that if you're using them neat, it's just going to be like a 1 or 2 issue case. You don't want to keep doing it at the same time all the time, because you can develop a sensitivity, which is why we recommend diluting. So this oil can be taken internally. It's actually cured myself of when I got food poisoning, and it's also cured many other people who suffer from what we call Montezuma's revenge in Mexico. And it really helps to settle the stomach because it has a lot of the digestive herbs in there, like ginger, peppermint, caraway, coriander, anise, fennel, and tarragon. So this oil can be taken internally, and I would put 2 to 4 drops in a glass of water, and I drank that, and it helped alleviate my symptoms of food poisoning, which comes out at both ends and is horrible. So this is a really great one, and it comes in the States. We have it in soft gel form. So sometimes people don't like the taste of the essential oils because they can be so strong, and especially with the taste of fennel or anise, people either love that or hate it. So if one doesn't like the taste of that, especially it's strong for children too, you can put it in the little capsules and have them swallow that. So it aids in the digestion of food, and it just promotes a healthy GI tract, and it helps with also motion sickness. So if you ever are on a road trip, or you feel like you're in the plane and you're feeling motion sick, Digestin is a really great one too. And you can just open up the bottle and smell that, or you can again rub it on your hands and just cup it over your nose and mouth like we were talking about. It's cooling. It has a lot of cooling oils in there, if you'll notice. Peppermint, anise, fennel, caraway, those are all cooling oils, so it's especially good when you're experiencing a lot of heat in the gut, when you have that burning sensation, and it's really good when you're experiencing those upset tummies. So I think that's all I have to say right now about Digestin. What about you, Sophia?
I think you've covered it all there. Yeah.
Okay. And then the last one we're going to talk about is Deep Blue. And Deep Blue is also an amazing one to have. I can't talk about enough great things about this. My mom's friend has Parkinson's disease, and she would buy, you'll see the Deep Blue tube. Do you guys have the rub?
We do, Karuna. Yes, we do.
Okay, good. So you see in the bottom right, you see the tube. Yes. So it comes in a cream form. And my mom's friend who has Parkinson's, she's in her late 70s, and she said that she will rub the cream all over, or she'll take the oil and dilute it with a carrier oil and rub it all over her body. And she says that's one of the only things that helps her sleep throughout the night, because, you know, with Parkinson's, it's a nervous, it's a degenerative nervous disease. So it's a constant moving and really affecting the nervous system. So Deep Blue is really great for athletes, anyone with chronic pain. My mom uses it. She loves to sew, but now her hands are getting really arthritic and stiff. And this is a great one for men too, because sometimes men think that essential oils are too girly, but men use their physical body a lot. So I have had a lot of clients that are professional athletes, or they just use their body all the time, and they love Deep Blue. This is a blend of wintergreen, camphor, peppermint, blue tansy, which makes it blue, blue chamomile, helichrysum, and osmanthus flower. So the blue chamomile and the blue tansy have the chemical constituent chamazolene in it, which gives it that blue color to the oil. Now, helichrysum is known as an oil for pain, and it's also known as stitches in a bottle. So you wouldn't want to really necessarily use this on open wounds, because it will feel like it's burning because of the camphor, the peppermint, and the wintergreen. But you can use it on bruises, sprains, broken bones, you know, when the skin is not broken, to help support the healing there. And you know, when I was little, you know, when you go through growth spurts and your children are experiencing pains in their joints, this is a really great blend for that. So this is a blend known as the soothing blend that really helps to support everything dealing with the musculature and the skeletal system. So you can use this topically. This has a child-proof cap on this, because this is one of the oils that definitely cannot be ingested, because wintergreen and camphor are seen as a toxin when ingested. So you cannot ingest this oil. This is only meant to be used topically. But you can also smell it. It also, like, you can, when you use it aromatically, it's very invigorating because of the peppermint and the wintergreen and the camphor. It's like almost got a sharpness to it, you know. Let's see. What else do I want to say about this oil? Sophia, do you have anything else you want to say about this oil?
This is one of my favorites. I still remember I ordered this one from the US a while back because it wasn't available here. I think I ordered it through you, Karuna. And as soon as it finished, I was already trying to arrange my next one, because it's that good. It's almost like a deep heat, so it's got the same qualities, almost the same. It's got a better smell than deep heat, but you feel the heat. And I mean, we use it often in the house. We really do. So now it is available in SA to buy. Yeah, it's really good. Love it.
It's interesting that you say it's heating, because for me, I feel like it's very cooling. So that just goes to show that, and this is a great example because we didn't bring this up, that essential oils are going to affect you differently, because we're all unique beings, right? And so what works for me may not work for you. But the beautiful thing about essential oils is that they're so diverse that we will find a solution for you. Now, just one last thing about Deep Blue. It also comes in a 10 milliliter roller bottle. Do you have that one in South Africa now?
I'm not too sure. I haven't seen the. I won't. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I'll be honest.
Okay. We'll check on that.
Yeah.
But you can either get it in this 5 milliliter bottle or the Deep Blue rub. And one of the reasons why it's called Deep Blue is because you can actually feel it penetrating so deeply into your muscles and joints. And I also, you know, I live out in the country here, and there's a lot of farms, and I work with a lot of farmers too that I see, and they are working so hard, and you know, they have very big muscles, they're very tight. And when you know, I also do different kinds of treatments, like I said, so I'll use these oils in my treatments. And when I use the deep blue on people's bodies, like if they have pain in their body, they look at me and they're like, is it supposed to work that fast? You feel it immediately. It's really amazing. So I don't want to talk too much, and I just want to open it up for questions. Does anyone have any questions? Let me check the chat.
Don't be shy. Now's your opportunity.
Sophia, it's Natalie. I have two questions. What essential oils would be good for hormone regulation and inflammation?
Karuna, maybe you can add
Yes.
to that. I think for hormone regulation,
I've been studying a lot about women's hormones, and I'm working with another one of my business partners in Doterra, who's a health coach, and her focus is working with women and hormones. And clary sage, or the Doterra has a blend, clary calm, and then that has clary sage in it. But clary sage is really touted as a hormone balancer for both men and women. And what was the other question about inflammation?
Yeah, just which essential oil would be good for inflammation in the body. And the reason why I ask is I'm very aware of the impact different food has on my body and how it creates inflammation in my body, and I've learned a lot about it. I also have a hormone imbalance, so that's why I was talking about that. But what would be good for inflammation within the body?
Okay, there's two, and I'm not sure if you have them there. Sophia, do you have copaiba there yet?
We do, yes.
Oh, great. Okay, so copaiba is coming from the balsam wood trees in Brazil. Oh, you have it right handy. How great. It's also a must-have. So they're comparing, this is a very unique essential oil because they're comparing this to CBD oils. And I don't know about you guys in South Africa, but here in America, the whole CBD, hemp, cannabis issue is huge here because people are really fighting to legalize it across the board. And now federally, they've legalized hemp and CBD products, which is a huge step forward because we're getting over the prohibition. So, you know, these are also plant medicines. However, people have a fear about using CBD oils or CBD products because there is a chance that they have levels of THC in them, which is the psychoactive part of the cannabis plant, which had made it, that's what made it the cannabis illegal for so long. However, and Doterra has been asked if they are going to be selling any CBD oils, and the answer is no, unless it becomes federally legal across the United States and statewide. But then it has to become legal worldwide too, because this is an international company. So I honestly don't see that happening anytime in the near future. But they were looking for another natural solution because we have this endocannabinoid system in our body, and we have CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors, and one deals with the emotional aspect of our body, the other deals with the physical. So copaiba actually has chemical constituents that address both the CB1 and CB2 receptors, so they're able to plug in like a key in a lock. And copaiba is definitely used when we're talking physically to not only boost the immune system, but also for pain and inflammation in the body. So I would recommend that number 1, and copaiba can also be taken internally. So you can put it in a capsule and take that internally, and that will help to reduce inflammation in the body. Now, when we're talking about taking essential oils internally, as an adult, they say we can take up to 24 drops within a 24-hour period, and with a child, it's half that. So, and then children under 12, they don't recommend them really taking internal. Under 8, I think. I'd have to check about that actually. So anyway, another one, but I don't know if you have this yet. Do you have turmeric available?
Yes, we do.
Okay, yeah. Awesome. Turmeric is number 1 for inflammation, and it's been used in Ayurvedic and traditional medicines for thousands of years because that also boosts the immune system. It also addresses the digestive tract because a lot of 96% of dis-ease in the body originates in the gut. So if one is having gut issues, you really want to create a strong, healthy microbiome. And in Ayurveda, you want to really strengthen your digestive system and stoke the inner fire known as Doterra Agni, which is the digestive fire. So I would recommend taking the turmeric internally, and you can also put that in a capsule. You could take it, just the oil, and put it in food. It's super strong. I love turmeric. I cook Indian food. That's like normally what I eat every day. And I'm like, oh yeah, turmeric. I was so excited when it came out because it's just basically a new product that came out last year or the year before. And it's so strong. So be very careful when you use it. You can put it in a capsule. Here in the States, we have the turmeric dual chamber capsules, which you'll get eventually. But what those do is the capsules have a dual chamber. So in the inner chamber, they're taking the botanical root. So, and then in the outer chamber, they have the turmeric essential oil, because the plant, the physical plant and the essential oil have different healing modalities. So they're combining that, and you can take that as a capsule when you get those. But turmeric is number 1 for reducing inflammation in the body, and I think it will help with your digestion as well. So I would recommend those 2 for sure.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyone else have any questions?
This is what the Claricalm looks like, just for Natalie's and for everyone else. It's known as the monthly blend for women. So yeah, it is a roller blend that we do have, and it's really, really great.
Will you tell us the oils that are in that?
Yeah. So it's got clary sage, it's got lavender, it's got bergamot, Roman chamomile, lang lang, cedarwood, geranium, fennel, carrot, and palmarosa.
And Vitex.
Yes, and Vitex, that's right.
Yes. And I was looking at that, and I didn't know anything about Vitex, and it sounds synthetic, doesn't it? You're like, what is that? But it actually comes from a plant. And these are all plants that support women's balancing hormones. So this is an amazing oil, because not only, we're starting from like prepubescent girls to postmenopausal women. It's good for the whole range. So it addresses PMS, mood swings, cramps, sore nipples or breasts, hot flashes. What else happens when we have our cycle?
Karuna, would it help with women who are going into menopause?
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was saying. Going into menopause through postmenopause. So, right now, I have all my friends, we're all midlife. We are all now nearing 50. I'll be 50 next year. And, you know, a lot of my friends either don't have their period anymore. They stopped their cycle. They're irregular. Some are still regular. Some don't have it at all. But they're all experiencing these different hormonal changes where some people feel like they used to have long, thick hair like me, and then they're losing their hair and now they have fine hair, you know. And so there's different things that you can do to really balance your hormones. And what I would recommend, you guys have the Lifelong Vitality Pack vitamins, yeah?
No.
Oh, that's right. Okay. But yeah, the foundation of health is really like looking at your diet and really try to strip it down to the your raw food source and cook from there, and try to not buy any food that's GMO. Try to buy organic food, local food that's in season, and be really mindful about how you're combining food, because Western thought has really messed up human digestive systems because of our food combining, and like simple things like eating milk with your fruit in a cereal. That's like, no, you don't do that. Or eating starch with protein, and that's so common. No, you don't do that. You're supposed to eat protein with vegetable. So really looking into our foundation for our health and launching from a proper diet and using herbal remedies and eliminating toxic products from your home is going to shift your whole life. And you may not even notice it in the beginning, because we're so bombarded with toxins on all ends. The air we breathe, the food we eat, the drinks we drink, the soil we grow our food in, the water. So we really have to be mindful of how we're treating our environment, because the state that we're in today is a direct result of the relationship that we have with the environment and how we care for the earth. And we haven't been very good stewards, so the nature sends us to our rooms. You know, we really have to think about how we're living our life, and the choices that we make have the butterfly effect. So we really need to be more mindful. So I just want to thank you so much. I didn't intend this class to be so long.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Karuna. Are there any other questions before we leave? Anyone else that has a burning question that they'd like to ask, please feel free. Alrighty. Okay, awesome. Karuna,
thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, that was so
So
great.
fun. I love talking about this stuff.
Yeah, all these oils are available. I mean, if you're looking at ordering, I order on a monthly basis. If you'd like to open up a wholesale account where you get it at wholesale prices, we can do that too. So we can always do that. You can chat to me about it and I can guide you through the process. But this was just to introduce the top 10 oils to you and how useful they are. Karuna, thank you so much for joining us. Your wisdom always, I love hearing all the stories. So thank you so much for that.
You're
and
welcome.
thank you to all you guys for joining us tonight and spending your Friday night with us.
Good to see some familiar faces. Hi, Michelle. Oh my gosh, it's so nice.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much. You guys can unmute yourselves as well and just say, you can chat to Karuna, say your goodbyes to who you need to.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Thank you.
you're so welcome. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much for
ladies.
your participation and for staying through the whole class.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing knowledge, because that's the biggest thing with these oils. There's so much to know and how to mix and put them together and use them properly. Yeah.
Well, one of the great things that we do, and I think about doTERRA is, and one of the reasons why they set up their business with direct sales is because if we were to look at these products on the shelf, no one would know what to use them for. And so they would just sit there collecting dust. So one of the things that I love about this business, being a natural educator, since I've been teaching yoga for over 20 years now, is that we really work directly with people, and we're building relationships with people to form a community. And it's not just like we're trying to sell you oils and we're like, yeah, thanks, see you later. But we have continuing education groups. Like I have a private Facebook group for just all the people who are using oils on my team, just to continue to share education, DIY projects. Everyone shares ideas. People have different health issues, so they recommend what they're doing and what worked for them. And it's so great because we can all learn from each other. And I certainly don't know everything. And so I'm learning something every day from people. Like one of the things that I just learned from a mom is that they put a couple drops of lavender on their child's stuffed animal when they get all upset, and they give the baby the stuffed animal, and it's really soothing, you know. And I don't have children, so I was like, that's brilliant. You can do the same thing for your anxious animal, you know. It's really interesting. And then someone else was talking about ear mites for cats and what they use. You know, so it's just fascinating, and there's basically an oil for everything.
Actually, my daughter's got a bit of anxiety at school, and I actually bought her that adaptive blend, and she's taking it to school with her every day. And when she's stressed, I said to her, just rub it on your wrists and rub it on your temples, and she's calm. She said she's never felt better just for this week.
I love to hear stories like that, because this is, you know, I always say the proof is in the pudding. And, you know, we could tout off a million facts, and that's just going to go in one ear and out the other. But it's these stories that we remember, because that's what makes an impact, you know? And so if anyone is interested in doing this as a business as well, please join Sophia and I, and know that you can either supplement your income or create residual income. And I have to be honest, you know, here in the States where I live, a lot of my friends have lost their jobs, are collecting unemployment, and they've asked me, they're like, how are you doing? Are you collecting unemployment? And I said, no, I don't have to, because I feel lucky that my business has only increased because I can do it online. I can do it anywhere at my own time convenience. We have products that are proven to work, that people love and need and use continually. So our company has 60 to 75% retention rate. And I made more money last month because I hit certain bonuses, that I'm making more money than I ever have. And for me, it takes the edge off, because I can get off the hamster wheel, and I don't have to trade my hours for dollars anymore. So I just feel really blessed. So if anyone is interested in that, Sophia and I can teach another class that just focuses on the business opportunity.
Yeah, so there's definitely opportunities everywhere, but I mean, I think the first thing is to just start with the oils and experience them yourself, so that you know how they work. And once you know, then yeah, you're away from there. Then you're hooked. I know.
Yeah, definitely try them for yourself. And you know, if you want samples, I'm sure that if you have never tried it before, we have these little sample vials. And
Yes,
Sophia, would you be able to send people some samples?
Yes, we've just got those little vials in SA, so it's great. We can do that.
Oh,
sure.
good. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope we see you. Lots of love to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
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 I've actually just thought of a question I'd just like to ask.
Okay.
You know, Melaleuca, is that the tea tree oil?
Yes.
I've heard that that's not safe for animals. So like if you want to diffuse it at home, like a blend with it at home, is it okay for your animals?
You want to make sure that they have they're not going to be trapped in a room where you're diffusing the oils. So if they don't like it, they can leave, and they're intuitive like that, they'll know.
Okay.
Melaleuca is not good for, I have to check for dogs, but I know it's not good for cats. So for example, you know, my intuition would be like ear mites. What would you do for ear mites? Tea tree. But with cats, you can't. So you'd have to use rosemary oil, you know? Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. We
There's
gotta
still
love
so
our
much
furry babies.
Yeah, there's a lot of info still to learn about these oils. Really is.
But there's also different Facebook groups that are doTERRA specific that I know, I can't remember her name, I'd have to look it up, but there's a vet that specifically uses doTERRA and talks all about how to use essential oils with doTERRA. So there's a lot of information online, and if you want to know something specific, you're welcome to message Sophia or I, and we'll help you look, because that's part of what we do is we help you look for the answer. And then what we're doing with our education is that we want to empower you so that you know where you can find your resources and look up your own oils. There's tons of books, there's apps. It's really accessible. The internet, which I call the Oracle.